This is the notes video for Chapter 6, Lesson 8. The learning target is, I can solve and graph two-step inequalities. Okay, solve two-step inequalities, Lesson 8 from Chapter 6. Caitlin is placing an ad in a local newspaper for a pottery class. The cost of placing an ad is shown in the table. Service for a 10-day ad with 3 lines is $38, and each additional ad is $9. Complete the question to find the total cost, C, of an ad with 4 or more lines. Use X as the variable. Okay, cost for a 10-day ad with only 3 lines. That's $38, so we just know that cost up front. Plus, it would be $9 for each additional line. So then we'd have to figure out what that is. Total cost, I'm not sure. How much will it cost to place an ad if it is 5 lines long? Okay, so for 5 lines, it would be 38 plus 9 times 2, which is 18. So it'd be 38 plus 18. So $56. Okay. Now suppose Caitlin can spend $50 on an ad. Does she have enough money to place the ad? Circle yes or no. Okay, well, if they're talking about the 5 lines, then no. She has enough money for 4 lines. Then it says, if the answer is no, how much money will Caitlin need? She'll need $56. Perfect. Okay, solve a two-step inequality. Here's some notes about it. A two-step inequality is an inequality that contains 2 operations. To solve a two-step inequality, use inverse operations, which is like the work backwards method, to undo each operation in reverse order of the order of operations. Remember the order of operations are PEMDAS, P-E-M-D-A-S. The P stands for parentheses, E stands for exponents, M stands for multiply, D stands for divide, A stands for addition, and S stands for subtraction. So if you were to undo them or reverse the operations, then you would start with subtraction and work your way this way. Example 1, solve 3x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 16. So I have to solve for x. So 3x plus 4 is greater than or equal to 16. And so if I subtract 4 on both sides, I can get 3x by itself. 3x is greater than or equal to 16 minus 4, which is 12. And then divide by 3. And I have to make note, am I dividing by a negative? Nope, then I don't have to switch the sign. 3x divided by 3 is just x, is greater than or equal to 12 divided by 3, which is 4. So this is the inequality, and now I have to graph it. 4 goes here, we'll have 3 go here, 5 here, 6, 2. And since it's greater than or equal to, I'm going to change up my color quick. I have to shade in the dot at 4. Shade in the circle at 4, and then since it's greater than, I'm going to shade anything that's greater than 4. So 5 and 6 are greater than 4. Now let's check to see if I'm right. And it looks like I am. Example 2, solve 5 plus 4x is less than 33. I'm going to subtract 5 on both sides of the equation, or the inequality. 4x is less than 33 minus 5, which is 28. divide both sides by 4, and I'm dividing by a positive, so I have to keep my sign the same. 4x divided by 4 is just x is less than 28 divided by 4, which is 7. So x is less than 7. Now I'm going to graph that. 7, 8, 9, 6, 5. Now I'm going to change my color, or actually I'm going to try the highlighter this time. And I'm going to write a circle at 7 and not shade it in. And then I'm going to shade everything to the left of 7. So it's less than 7, so it can't equal 7. So now let's check to see if we're right. And it looks like the book had the same thing I did. Okay, let's try the got it problem. Solve 2x plus 8 is greater than 24. 2x plus 8 is greater than 24. We have to solve for x, so we have to subtract 8 from both sides. 2x is greater than 24 minus 8, which is 16. I'm dividing by a positive, so I'm going to keep my sign the same. To get x by itself, 2x divided by 2 is just x, is greater than 16 divided by 2, which is 8. So x is greater than 8, so I'm going to put 8 here. 9, 10, 7, 6. And since it's greater than or equal to, so x is greater than, it's not getting shaded in because it's not equal to. So I'm just going to do a circle, and I kind of liked the last one. So I'm just going to draw a circle like that, and then I'm going to use my highlighting tool and make it greater than 8. And I just shaded greater than 8. Example 3 says, solve 7 minus 2x is greater than 11. So 7 minus 2x is greater than 11. And then I have to subtract 7 from both sides. So I'm left with negative 2x on the left is greater than 11 minus 7, which is 4. Okay, so now I'm dividing by a negative. So now I have to switch my sign. So negative 2x divided by negative 2 is just x. 4 divided by negative 2 is negative 2. So x is less than negative 2. So I'm going to graph my line. Negative 2, negative 1, 0, negative 3, negative 4. Okay, now I'm going to shade it in. So using my highlighting tool, x is less than negative 2, so it's not equal to, so I'm going to leave an open circle at negative 2 and then shade in anything less than negative 2. Okay, example 4. We've got x over 2 minus 5 is less than negative 8. So I'm going to add 5 to both sides of the inequality to get x over 2 by itself. Then x over 2 is less than negative 8 plus 5, which is negative 3. I have to multiply by a positive 2 on both sides. Since I'm multiplying by a positive, I just leave the sign the same. 2 times x over 2 is just x, is less than negative 3 times 2, which is negative 6. So x is less than x is less than negative 6. Now I have to graph that. So negative 6, negative 7, negative 8, negative 6, negative 5, negative 4. So then you fill it in with a circle, or don't fill in the circle, just leave an open circle. And then anything less than 6 gets shaded. Okay, so now let's solve each inequality. It says graph the solution set on the number line provided. X over 2 plus 9 is greater than or equal to 5. So let's solve it down below. I'll have B go here. X over 2 plus 9 is greater than or equal to 5. Subtract 9 from both sides of the inequality. X over 2 is greater than or equal to 5 minus 9, which is negative 4. Multiply by 2 to get x by itself. 2 times x over 2 is just x, is greater than or equal to negative 4 times 2, which is negative 8. So I know I had a negative there, but because I multiplied by a positive on both sides, I just still kept the sign the same. So now I'm going to graph it. Negative 8, negative 7, negative 6, negative 9, negative 10. Then I'm going to fill it in with a closed circle. So I'm going to use solid blue there. At negative 8, and it's greater than or equal to. So it's greater than is this way. Negative 6 and negative 7 are greater than negative 8. Okay, let's do C. So C says 8 minus x over 3 is less than or equal to 7. So I have to subtract 8 from both sides to get negative x over 3 by itself. Then I have less than or equal to 7 minus 8, which is negative 1. And I have to multiply by negative 3 on both sides to get x by itself. So negative 3 times negative x over 3 is just x, because a negative times a negative is a positive. And I have to switch the sign since I'm multiplying by a negative number. So my sign will reverse order. It'll be greater than or equal to. Negative 1 times negative 3 is positive 3. So x is greater than or equal to positive 3. So 3 goes here. 4, 5, 2, 1, 0. Now I'm going to shade in the circle. So I'm going to draw a circle at 3 and shade it in. And since it's greater than or equal to, I'm going to go in this direction, the right direction, because 4 and 5 are greater than 3. Example 5. Halfway through the bowling league season, Stuart has 34 strikes. He averages 2 strikes per game. Write and solve an inequality to find how many more games it will take for Stuart to have at least 61 strikes. The league record. Interpret the solution. Okay, so I pulled out this handy dandy chart. You can see it in the bottom left of my screen. And I noticed the word at least. And so I'm looking for that word, at least. Is at least is greater than or equal to inequality. So I'm going to use the greater than or equal to. Halfway through the bowling alley league, Stuart has 34 strikes. He averages 2 strikes per game. I'm going to let G equal the number of games. Okay, so 2G. Write and solve an inequality to find how many more games it will take for Stuart to have at least 61 strikes. So 61 should go here. So we'll say 34 plus 2G is greater than or equal to 61. And I'm just going to check to see if I interpreted that correctly. 34 plus 2g is greater than or equal to 61. Okay, so we're on the right track. Okay, lined it back up. Now I'm going to keep going, and I'm going to solve for g. So subtract 34 on both sides of the inequality. 2g is greater than or equal to 61 minus 34. So 61 minus 30 is 31. 31 minus 4 is 27. Just going to check to make sure that's right. 5, 11 minus 4, 7. 5 minus 3 is 2. Okay. Divide by 2 on both sides. G equals 27 divided by 2, which is 13.5. So the number of games is greater than or equal to 13.5. So let's see what it says. Alright, so the book got the same thing I did, and Stuart should have at least 61 strikes after 14 more games. So 14 more games. So because it's greater than or equal to. So a whole number that's greater than 13.5 is 14. Let's do these 2 guided practice problems for extra practice. If you're ready to start the assignment, you may. Number 1, I've got 5x minus 7 is greater than or equal to 43. Add 7 to both sides. Get 5x by itself is greater than or equal to 43 plus 7, which is 50. Divide by 5 on both sides. 5x divided by 5 is just x. 50 divided by 5 is 10. So x is greater than or equal to 10. 10, 11, 12, 9, 8. Greater than or equal to, so I'm going to shade in a circle at 10 and make it great, and then shade anything greater than 10 in. Okay, number 2, 11 is less than or equal to 7 plus x over 5. Now I have to get x by itself, so I'm going to subtract 7 on both sides of the inequality. 11 minus 7 is 4, is less than or equal to x over 5. Multiply by 5 on both sides to get x by itself. 5 times 4 is 20, is less than or equal to x over 5 times x is just x. So x is greater than or equal to 20. And then I'm going to have 20 here, 21, 22, 19, 18, 17. And then I'm going to shade in a circle at 20 because it's or equal to. And x is greater than or equal to 20, so I'm going to shade this way. Notice that I put the variable on the left. It helps me make sense of my graph better.